Doug Wright Show, where Utah news breaks on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Wasting your vote is voting for somebody that you don't believe in.
Well, I'll tell you, I have been thinking a lot about that statement from former Governor Gary Johnson, now presidential candidate on the libertarian ticket, Gary Johnson. And Governor, welcome. It's always good to have you on the program. Thank you for making time.
Absolutely, Doug. Thank you.
You know, for years, I've made the argument, and I'm honestly here to eat a little crow, that, I might really like a third-party candidate, but somewhere I've really got to decide between the two major candidates, as it were. There will be a grain or two difference, and, I don't want to, quote-unquote, throw my vote away. And then I heard you say this.
Wasting your vote is voting for somebody that you don't believe in.
And this year, Governor, that is resonating with me like never before. You are a third-party candidate. You are the libertarian candidate for the presidency of the United States. I think so many Americans are agonizing over this election. What is the case? Can you win?
Well, I wouldn't be doing this, and my running mate is Bill Weld, former governor of Massachusetts, two-term governor. Both of us served as Republican governors in heavily blue states and got reelected by big margins. So I think we offer up a lot of credibility here to a third-party run. The only chance we have of winning, Doug, is to be in the presidential debate. And that is a real possibility given the fact that we could well poll at 15% plus, which is what the Presidential Debate Commission says that you have to poll at to be in the presidential debate. As recently as last Thursday in a Fox poll, I was at 12%. So I think any third name in a poll that includes Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump is going to do very well in that poll. But myself and Bill Weld, we're going to be the only third-party candidates on the ballot in all 50 states.
That is huge. It truly is. We've had various attempts over the years. The most successful in my lifetime has been Ross Perot. I remember John Anderson when I was very, very young. But boy, if there's ever been a year when I think that there is a temperament, I think of major league Republicans especially, like Mitt Romney and others who are saying, I can't vote for this guy. I cannot morally vote for Donald Trump. And where do they go?
Well, I think we're offering a unique platform, and that is being fiscally conservative, over the top. When it comes to personal liberty and freedom, shouldn't we as individuals, bottom line, be able to make choices in our own lives that only we should be able to make, as long as those choices don't put others in harm's way? And then when it comes to our military interventions, I think that our military interventions have had the unintended consequence of making the world less safe, not more safe. And I am talking now about boots on the ground, dropping bombs and flying drones that are killing thousands of innocent people. The situation in Orlando right now, we are giving credit, or the media is giving credit right now to ISIS when no credit belongs there whatsoever. We'll see how this ultimately plays itself out. But because of the media coverage and what has happened, I dare say that recruitment by ISIS is going up, not down. Analogous to a basketball game or a football game where they don't show the naked guy running across the court anymore because it promotes more of that behavior. We shouldn't be giving ISIS any credit whatsoever for what happened in Orlando. This was a case of really an insane, crazy person that, look, we can talk about that too. But anyway, unique platform that doesn't exist with either Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton.
You served as governor, Republican governor, for New Mexico. And you and I have had this conversation many times when we were talking about the immigration issues that were on the front burner in general, but especially from south of our border. You and I talked often about those that were talking about building the wall, and ironically at that time, during that conversation, that voice was not Donald Trump. But now he has become the poster child for this, that yes, we're going to build the wall, and yes, we're going to have Mexico pay for it. I remember once I asked you if it was feasible, and I can't even remember how many billions of dollars you mentioned when you said, yeah, sure, we could build it. And then you gave a number that was enough to choke the world.
Well, and to what end? I think we should make it as easy as possible for somebody that wants to come into this country and work to be able to get a work visa. And a work visa should entail a background check and a Social Security card that applicable taxes get paid. There is so much misinformation that goes along with the deportation of 11 million illegal immigrants. They are not murderers and rapists. Statistically, they commit less crime than U.S. citizens. They are not taking jobs that U.S. citizens want. And it's not an issue of lower pay unless it's an issue of language, and they're the first ones that recognize this. Building a fence across the border between Texas and Mexico. Let's see, that's the Rio Grande River. Doug, are we going to build the wall on this side of the Rio Grande and wall out the Rio Grande from the United States, or are we going to build it on their side and they're going to wall out I guess we're going to build it right down the middle.
Yeah.
And how is the crackdown of 11 million illegal immigrants going to work in New Mexico, where the population is 48% Hispanic? This is going to be a knock on the door by the federal government, and they get to my door, and you're the former governor. I guess we won't check out your attic or closet, but then statistically the next door they knock on is going to be someone that's Hispanic, and let's see some papers.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, as a governor of a border state, someone who was right on the front lines with this, I mean, after all, Mr. Trump is a New Yorker. And the practicality of this, I mean, we were talking about this long before it became the big national issue or Donald Trump started making it the national issue that it has become. But there are people that would, quote unquote, go to the wall for Donald Trump over this. I remember the great little valedictorian we heard last week, who was going on to Yale, who in her valedictorian speech mentioned that she was here illegally, was brought in by her single mom when she was 11 years of age. Some of the hatred and the tweets and the she's stealing our education from real Americans, she ought to be deported. It shakes my faith in my fellow Americans, Governor.
Well, we are a country of immigrants, and having Mexican immigrants come into this country and work and contribute to our lives and our economy and home values, they're coming into this country. They are consuming American goods and services, and they are providing goods and services. Very, very value added, just like this country has been since its inception. It's about the American dream. It's about working hard, and it's about families and love and all the things that Donald Trump would argue are the opposite.
You have brought up something before on this show, and it was, I've referred to a video that is out on your campaign right now. But term limits. And I laughed out loud when you were giving examples of people that had been back there a long, long time. And if not the first, one of the very first faces I see is our own Senator Hatch. I think I saw Patrick Leahy. I saw others that were on there, some people having served over 50 years. What about term limits? Can that happen?
I do believe that it can, and I do believe it's a silver bullet. I do believe that people elected to office would do the right thing as opposed to whatever it takes to get reelected. There is a term limits proposal circulating right now by the term limits folks in Washington, D.C. I have pledged to submit this term limits proposal to any sitting member of Congress or the Senate. And what it does, of course, it does term limit you, but if you sign on to it, if you will support it, you will be grandfathered. You will not be subject to term limits. So we'll see see how that progresses.
Eventually, things will weed out. It may take, 20, 30, 40 years.